when it was time for me and my husband to take the next level of our relationship, path switching came up, and that is a term that in becoming a spiritual human, and path switching is a huge thing, but it literally is when do you, on a soul level, have the courage to say, I have to stop this and move into another direction. And it's huge because you have the RTJP, which is the right temporal junction parietal lobe, that says think what other people think, which interferes with who you're supposed to be. Then you have the consciousness of self-conscious, noticing the self and everybody staring at you. That interplays. Then you got all the strategies and the stories. But to be able to stand there in the courage and say, okay, you know what? This isn't working. So my guides were telling me, time to path switch. And I'm thinking, my career? No. You talking about my health? No. And yes. What? Then I know. Okay. So I said, family. Yes. And see, and one of these days I'm going to make my wheel and put it on my wall so that when you click on it, you can see all of the, how to become a spiritual human, looking at all of the things that we can heal, unwind, and grow from. I said, okay, what do you mean about my husband? Well, it's not working. Yes, it is. And to come to the realization that a relationship doesn't mean you have to joke, have resentment, play a joke on people, and just live in this world where you have to fight all the time and disagree and build up all this. So long story short, one of the things is that we were sitting there watching TV, and I says, I want you to be aware of this. I says, look at this comedy show. It's funny. Mm-hmm. It's awesomely funny. Remember it?
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the show, but
it doesn't matter what the name of the show is.
One guy was...
What were we taught? We were taught that the man and woman were supposed to be at each other by jokes, hurting each other's feeling, topping each other.
Getting the digs in.
Yes,
he wanted to find some evidence in the attic or something that was...
It was about the chair. You bought an ugly chair, and she wouldn't admit that she bought an ugly chair. He says, no, you shouldn't have bought it at all. And she's like, well, you can't stop me from buying it. And it ended up being, but it was all a joke. And then afterwards, you're supposed to make up. And so how she made up was she bought him an equally ugly chair because he was told, no, you should say you like it. So everybody's playing these little mind F games all the time.
Right.
And I said to him, I says, I can't live that way. I says, I have to keep my authenticity. I don't want to play in this group consciousness that says the only way I can create this matrix is to have this type of relationship. I know I want a better one with you. I know that I'm awakening and I want you to come with me, but I can't make you come. You have to have that choice. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm already with you. No, there was a big significant difference of who we were then and who we are now. So I got up and left because there's a part of him that couldn't understand what I was saying. I said, we're done. I can't do it anymore. And here's the huge thing. In a path switch, sometimes you have to, Spirit will get your eyes off of how you're doing things, stop you from focusing, tell you to look and focus over there, and then everything is rearranging. As I boldly walked forward and said, okay, I'm going to leave my husband, I'm done. And there really wasn't anything wrong with the relationship, except for...
It was the negativity and everything that was going on.
It was killing my body.
It was breaking down your body.
And he's done nothing wrong. It's just that my body was doing this. As a soul reader, I couldn't stop the situation. And so finally I said, that's it. So I decided I'm done. So I started focusing on my career and where I'm going to go, how I'm going to do it. And I gave him a choice. You can either come or you don't. I would like you to come. I'm rooting for you, but you got to make this decision. I moved forward. As I was doing that, everything was rearranging. He was thinking, that was changing. My daughter and I, we weren't really getting along, but we were, just like any other relationship. Then finally, after a certain amount of time passed, he's like, no, I want you. And he understood that it wasn't that he had to change himself. I have to physically pretend I like this. No, he had to authentically made a choice. What doesn't work in his world and have to get rid of it? And literally he says, I'm done with the resentment. I don't need it anymore. Do you remember anything else about it?
No, I don't.
It was just like cleaning house.
Yeah.
To some degree.
And you knew what you wanted. You finally took the intention and said, I'm done with this, but my intention is I want my wife. And I'm done with this. So you intentionally cleaned house, and the next thing you know, we're back to growing It took me a while to accept you fully in, but then all of a sudden it was like, so what happened was that I had to rearrange things. Now, he heals and does things, and we get close together. My daughter, out of the blue, I wasn't, and I knew that I had to change the family, but she was just an extra, and it was all the good stuff, because I had put up all of my website about how to healing tools, and she was using the healing tools without me knowing it, and slowly we become stronger as a unit. All four of us. My son, he's here, but he's not here, and he's a teenage boy. That's what will tell you. He's just there. I saw him for 2 minutes the other day, and he had chin hairs. Oh my God, he's growing. Yeah, Mom. Nice deep voice. Oh. But anyway, the learning to change and be courageous and letting go and learning to trust the universe to show you the steps that it takes can be somewhat scary.
Right, because then you came and called your peeps together, and I was one of those people, and I'm listening to her story, and I thought that...
She's across the table and her mouth's falling off. Right. I didn't know what was going on. I was just too much in my stew.
Right. You were going through you're like, I need somebody, and I'm like, that's what I do. You know, I'm a soul coach and minister, and I listen, and then I'm sitting there listening, and I thought everything was fine in my world. I thought everything was okay. I was doing healing and this, that, and the other, and if I do enough healing, then, you know, I'm just not going to pay attention to the fact that I just got to the point where I stopped wanting to pull in my own driveway. And then I'm listening to her story, and it's like, oh, crap. I'm hearing her tell my story.
See, and I had no idea.
You had because you were doing your own thing, and that's fine. And I'm sitting there going, click, 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 click. And it's like, oh my gosh. All of a sudden, the blinders that I had put on to go through this relationship, because it's kind of like, just suck it up. You're in a relationship. You're married. This is what you're supposed to do.
You're supposed to compromise. You're supposed to sell yourself short. You're supposed to
just do everything for the other person. And I'm listening, and it's like, oh, I'm going to have to do the same thing. And I don't know what it looks like, but I know it has to change.
At this point, we didn't know what mine looked like either. It could have been divorce. But...
he made the choice.
I did a soul,
awesome.
When you do the cord switching, I did a soul clearing with him, which means we reestablished a soul cord. And I left it up to him. I says, here's my soul cord. If you want to be in my space, as part of the entanglement cords you guys will learn about, then all of a sudden it took him 3 days. Do you remember that process? It was the most,
a little bit.
You said it was the worst 3 days of your life. Boy, he's healed so much you don't remember. I remember your story. Don't make me go back there.
Exactly.
But then by the third day, he goes, what am I doing? I'm stupid. I love her. I want her. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to walk over there and just...
What's it going to take?
Stupid?
I thought I swear I heard you say that.
Oh, I don't remember.
You said you were doing something stupid. The stupid action of being angry.
Yes. Okay.
But anyway... I had to stop being human or spiritual just long enough and allowed myself to be like 1 hour or 2 hours of being just human. Just wham, mourn, cry, complain,
vent, do everything that you...
Yeah, and it was funny because there is one little story about that, is that we have a gay friend, and he's quite handsome, and he was sitting across next to her, and so then I don't drink. And I said, okay, I'm going to buy a beer. I said,
this is my time. I'm
going to do one stupid thing.
I just need this Brenda time.
So I had this, and then they gave me a beer. It ain't no small thing. That thing was like, here's your big pitcher, and it's called a mug. I'm like, how in the world am I supposed to drink this? I couldn't even lift it.
She used a straw.
I had to. That dang thing was so heavy. I'm looking, are you serious? You guys do this? Anything like this? Fine. So I'm sipping away on it, and of course, you don't drink a beer fast. Well... And so I started feeling a little tipsy. And I looked over at our gay friend and I says, well, how did I put it? It was hilarious.
Oh my God, you look so handsome.
Oh, wait a minute. That's the beer talking.
And I said, don't worry, that's the beer talking.
Well, I said, no. I said, oh, you're so handsome. Oh, wait. There was something else there.
If you keep doing what you're doing, being cute, I'm going to...
No, that was another time.
Oh, sorry, I'm giving away all your secrets.
No, I remember going, oh, you're so cute. Oh, wait a minute, that's the beer talking. And you said, don't take offense to it.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah, don't take offense.
but no, but I don't live there. You can be human. Just don't live there. We're not, those are our identifications. We're not our wounds. You know, we really don't have to suffer. I found out suffering is an option. I thought it was just in my world until, you know, Spirit says, okay, time to teach. And then it started bringing me people. I thought it was a joke. Really? You want me to teach? And then all of a sudden, I've been teaching since 2004, I think. It's either late 2003, but I just say 2004. And it's just been, all right, do you want me to teach? Yeah, keep teaching. And weaves people in and out of waves, and you'll learn about waves later. But literally, what happens is there is a process to life. You can be in your hells, but don't let it own you. Don't let it become such an over-identity that you forgot who you are. And sometimes those hells, now people say, well, you probably never had a post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah, well, I was raped. I was also a little kid that had been molested. And so I know exactly what those things are. But I also learned the healing tools, which then took my brain and said, you do not have to hold that pain in your brain, which if you listen to Dr. Hammer and Dr. Sklar, S-C-A-E-U-R or something like that. But anyways, and Dr. Who's the other one? Tad James, sorry, I forgot your name. And these people will all tell you, Dr. Hammer is a German doctor, and what he found on the brain is, he called them hammer herds, but the corresponding points in the brain corresponded with tragic events in their life, and then the spot on the brain matched the corresponding body parts of where they were having dysfunction in the body. And he then had a personal experience. I think his son killed himself or died or whatever, and that brought him great tragedy of cancer. And so his whole research was, he took people that had cancer and he started looking at the brain and the corresponding body parts and then the trauma, and then he was helping people heal the trauma. And what happened is, when the brain healed, the brain sends a signal to the body, well, then the body started to repair itself. And then with Tad James, he teaches about Dr. Hammer, but then he also takes the next step further and says, if you go into, and he said, if you go into the subconscious mind, because all healing and changes take place on that level, if you go to that level and you learn to heal and understand how it functions, it's amazing how everything starts to repair. And it wasn't just the physical. I started being trained how to do it on the spiritual, emotional, and mental part of you, which then affects the physical attributes. And physically, relationships to others, to things, to places. And even if you have bad crap that's happening, you change the inner program, and then it changes and launches a new entanglement cord with it, which really allows you to, how do you want to put it? Really allows you to take a new perception and how you used to do things into how you do them now. You literally, that's why I say when a healing does occur, and we soul coaches, so we do private healings, I want you to witness. I want you to witness, because when you witness, you're actually starting to train yourself to see, because you get two energies that come at you all the time, the male energy and the female energy, the negative and the positive. And when you're so trained into the negative, we have to retrain ourselves to start seeing the positive. Not just create a band-aid and cover up the foundation of hell, but to literally heal, resolve, and something else wonderful happens. So what I want to do is to help you understand that.
So I hope we
answer your question. Is that there's a part of her that says, yes, you can. You can do it the same way as you always done it. She would prefer that he make the first move, but she's not. She can do it if she wanted to. But at the same time, she's at that stage where she has heart walls up, which will stop her, because she has to check against her blueprint of expectations in her manual that said, if he does this, this, and this, or acts this way, beware of this, beware of that. And when that occurs, then she can put a warning system on, which then creates another dysfunction in her body, and literally can stop you from potentially having a relationship.
Well, it's like what I did, and you said that she kind of resonated with my stories.